Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Come on in, come on in. I know I'm hitting you up at a different time of the day, but I thought we'd try something different. I figure everybody's home. It's a national holiday, and so I thought I would just jump on in. And if you don't catch it now, hopefully you'll catch it later, right? So this is Lunch and Learn. We're going to learn something today. And I got three short topics that we're going to talk about, but we're going to just jump right on in. Again, I'm LaWanda DeShazer with Think About It, and we're doing a special Lunch and Learn to just shed some light on some issues that are going on that is affecting all of us right now. If you catch it later, I want to thank you for your time. And again, if you jump on while I'm here live, I want to thank you as well, because you can be anywhere. You can be doing anything. And at some point, you're going to watch this video, and I appreciate you. All right. So again, we're going to jump on in. I got three hot topics, but I got a little disclaimer first because it might be really hot. So I'm going to do a disclaimer first. So let me jump on over there to my disclaimer. Here we go. So the information contained on this broadcast is provided for informational and entertainment purposes only. I do not warrant or represent that any information placed or published on this broadcast is reliable, accurate, complete, error-free, verified, peer-reviewed, or free from errors or defects. I make no representations or warranties whatsoever regarding such information. I am not liable for the acts, errors, omissions, representations, warranties, intentional acts, or negligence, or for any personal injuries. Okay, so I got my little disclaimer out the way. So y'all know what that means. We're about to just jump right on in it. All right, first topic of the day. The Wichita Community Voice came out with an article today. And again, I'm going to share their information, so you won't just try to blame me for it. It's in the Wichita Community Voice newspaper. It came out this morning, and it's talking about the promotion of Justin Rapp. Let me find that for you. I want you all to be able to read it. Well, I don't see it. Let me see if I can find it. Go back to here. Okay, here we go. So in the Wichita Community Voice newspaper, it's talking about the promotion of SWAT officer Justin Rapp. Okay, so for all you that don't remember, Justin Rapp was the officer. Here we go. Wichita police officer Justin Rapp describes the night he shot Andrew Finch on his front porch during a preliminary hearing in a civil case filed against the city of Wichita by Finch's family. So Justin Rapp is the officer that actually shot Andrew Finch in a swatting incident. So in case you don't know what a swatting incident is, gamers are playing, they think it's funny. They call the SWAT team, call the police out and make a false phone call that something is going down, and the police need to go to this address immediately. The police go to the address that was given by the swatter. Andrew Finch, according to all the articles, Andrew Finch comes to the door, and within 7 seconds, he's shot and killed on the spot. And Justin Rapp was the officer that, he shot him. It's not allegedly. He shot him because he's testified, and is also, I believe, the DA said that it was a justified shooting. So it's not that he allegedly shot Andrew Finch. That did happen. Okay. But here's the more controversial part, everybody. He just got a promotion. That's the scary part. He just got a promotion to detective. So he was on the SWAT team, and he goes to an incident and he kills someone within 7 seconds. And now he's getting a promotion. His current salary, according to the article, is $65,000 a year. And it does not say what his new salary is going to be. But typically when you get a promotion, you get a raise in salary as well. So the mayor, let me go back to this article. So the Wichita mayor and some of our council members questioned his promotion, and they're questioning it because they're saying that not only did he, was involved in the shooting, and there's a case going on, legal case going on. There was also the incident of the text messages, right? The text message scandal. And so many of the texts were racist and sexist, and the text messages also congratulated each other for the permanent de-escalation, i.e. killing of individuals who needed it. So he was part of, I'm going to say allegedly, because they won't release the names of the officers involved in the text scandals, but allegedly this article implies he was part of it as well. And even if he wasn't part of it, there's an investigation that's getting ready to take place about who was part of the text messaging scandal and who was sending the text, who was receiving. And when you think about people that were sworn to protect and to serve, and they send a message and saying that they're they congratulate each other for permanent de-escalation for killing people. I don't think that's worth a congratulations. And so look, in the article, they reached out to Chief Moore, and Chief Moore reminded the city council members, they reminded the mayor that it's not their call on who the police department promotes. So we got the mayor, we got a couple of city council members questioning the promotion. And the response was that basically it's not their call to make. And technically, he's right, because the only person that the city council hires and fires is actually our city manager. But the city manager has the responsibility of hiring and firing city employees. But check this out. So you all remember the summer of 2020 when there were protests that centered around the killing of George Floyd. Everybody remember that, right? So here in Wichita and across the nation, people were calling for police reform, right? And they had different ways that they were calling for reform. But one of the things was that they wanted to make officers' names public if they were involved in a shooting that resulted in a death, right? They wanted to limit the powers of the FOP. And that was no different than what was asked for here in Wichita, Kansas. I know the Racial Profiling Advisory Board. I know a lot of other organizations. They went to City Hall in 2021 and 2020 and asked for reform here in Wichita. They asked to let officers' names be made public. 2 years in a row, the request was made, and 2 years in a row, the request was denied. The quote was, well, we typically don't release those names and we're going to stick to that process. That was not a good answer, right? But I was there at City Hall on the last the FOP contract was actually approved in December of 2021. And I was there along with other people. And again, we asked for some things in the FOP contract to be changed or amended to allow for more transparency with the community. All of the requests were shot down. None of the requests were added to the FOP contract, but we were told that there was going to be some upcoming policy changes that would address the concerns of the community. And as of now, and I could be wrong, but there have not been any policy or ordinances changed to date that would make the FOP, either the contract or the police department, more transparent. And that's, again, the citizens asked for it. They marched, they protested in 2020, showed up at the city council meetings, did the exact same thing in 2021. Citizens were at the FOP council meeting and asked for the FOP contract to either be placed on hold for a little bit longer, so it could be tweaked for more transparency, or to actually make the changes on the spot. None of those things were done. So I want everybody to keep that in mind. So the transparency that was asked for was not given, right? And now we see that one of the officers that was involved in the shooting, while there's an active investigation going on into the text messaging scandal, has been promoted. So he's off the streets, and maybe that's a good thing. He won't have his gun. Maybe that's a good thing. But I think it gets back to being able to trust somebody that's sworn to protect and serve. And so now that person is moved from being on the streets to now he's actively going to be looking at cases as a detective. Is that just as scary as having a gun? Because it's the detective's job to go out and get the information and compile the case, right? And so I think, me personally, and this is just me, I think that promotions for anybody involved in the SWAT team or anybody involved in the text messaging scandal period should be put on hold. And there is a show on Netflix right now. It's called Web of Make Believe. And it shows the Andrew Finch story. And our very own Miko from Wichita and Miss Elma Ann are on that documentary. And they talk about what happened that night. And they talk about that the person that made the phone call got like 20, I think he got 20 years. But the person that actually shot Andrew is still working and just got a promotion. So just let that sink in. And again, I'm not saying that maybe he should get the promotion. According to the police side of the story, they said that there's nothing in Justin's file that would prevent him from being promoted. He passed both tests. He's on the list, and it's his turn to be promoted. So maybe it was fair. Maybe it wasn't. Something for you all to think about, to research the issue, because we're here to learn today. And so look up the FOP policies, look up the City of Wichita Police Department policies, and see if this promotion is in line with how they do business. And if it is, maybe it's time to change how we do business. And I'm going to say one more thing about the text messaging scandal. And it ties back into the fact that WPD does not release names of officers involved in incidents, not even text messaging scandals. So I'm going to tell you, your girl got 3 different sources. Because one of the main things in the article that stood out to me is that a black officer is the one that sent the meme. I'm going to describe the meme. So when George Floyd was killed, an officer sat on him and choked off his ability to breathe, right? So the meme that was being passed around here in Wichita was that the officer was removed, and they put the image of a naked black man sitting on the face of George Floyd. So to me, it's perverted. It's nasty. It's not funny at all. A man lost his life, and a black man lost his life, and another black man shared the meme first because he thought it was funny. He thought everything was so tense that it would, give some relief to the tension. I say absolutely not. And I know who the Black officer was, allegedly. Allegedly, it was Officer Danielle Watson, but I don't know if that's the truth. I got it from 3 different sources. I even reached out to Officer Watson and I asked him, would he come on my show and let's talk about it? And he can, say it was him, it was not him, those are just rumors. And he declined to come on. As a matter of fact, his statement was that I don't know who it was. So there it is. I don't know who it was because technically I don't have a written statement that's notarized and said that was the person that did it, but that's the name that's floating around. And I personally would like, I got it from 3 different sources. I got it from one of the sources is actually a newspaper. And the newspaper reporter told me that they were not going to print the story just yet either because they were waiting for 100% confirmation. So dang it. I keep saying I don't have 100% confirmation. I'm going to say I don't because I don't have it in writing. And I know people like to see the receipts and I don't have the receipts. So that's why I put the disclaimer out. I'm not saying anything that I'm saying is true, right? I'm just telling you what I've heard. I'm just passing on gossip. This is I'm going to say this is entertainment. It could be educational if it comes out that it's true. Once we get once they actually do the investigation, I hope that we learn the names of all the officers that were involved, because what we're talking about now, and on a serious note, we're talking about being able to trust. We're talking about being able to leave our kids. There's a new juvenile program. I guess it's been around for 2 years now. And we need to be able to let our children join this juvenile program ran by the police department. We need to have the utmost confidence that our kids are in a safe environment. And so when they withhold the names of officers that are involved in things like passing memes of naked men sitting on top of another man, that gives me a pause for concern. So again, I don't have it in writing, so I can't say 100% that I know that is true, but I can say I got it from 3 sources, and it causes some alarm for me. So as a parent, I just want you guys, again, do your own research, ask questions, be involved, know who you are handing your children off to, right? Just because we don't know what people do behind the scenes. And again, I'm not saying anything foul to be done to your children or anything. I'm just saying that when an officer can say that we're the ultimate de-escalators and they shoot and kill citizens, and when they pass out memes talking about LGBTQ community, when they're talking about the Black community, it should cause concern for everyone. And so I want people to start going to the city council meetings, start going to the county commission meetings, because really the city council is a lot about policies and what goes on in our city. But on Sedgwick County side, that's where the money is. That's where the big bucks are. So you got to go to both sides of the street. Just don't go to the city and just don't go to the county. Go to both sides of the street so you actually understand how policies and procedures work in Wichita, right? Or any place that you live. You got to be informed to know what's going on. And so the other thing that I want to talk about that's a hot topic right now is the measure that's coming up on August 2nd that everyone in Sedgwick County, in the state of Kansas will be voting on. So let me pull it up again so we know what we're talking about. So now we are talking about the Kansas Constitutional Amendment. that is coming up. Oh, wait a minute. Before I go over there, well, I'll go there, then we'll come back. So the constitutional amendment is raising the eyebrows on the abortion issue. And the state of Kansas is being looked at because this is the first state that has a measure on the ballot since we heard that the Supreme Court shot down Roe versus Wade. So this is the measure. Let me see. So a no vote would say this. Well, I want to read the bill so you have it in its entirety. Let me go back over here. And I am on the League of Women Voters page. They are a nonpartisan group. And so they are not Dems or Republicans. They're nonpartisan. And so when they put out information, it truly is about giving the people the information. Okay. So when the vote comes up, we have the opportunity to vote no or vote yes. And here's what a no vote would mean. It says a no vote would keep the Bill of Rights in the Kansas Constitution as is, affirming the legal precedent establishment in Holds versus Nassar versus Smith, that a woman has a natural and fundamental right to continue or to end a pregnancy. The Kansas Supreme Court ruled that this is not an absolute right and can be limited by legislative action if there is a compelling state interest and if the law is narrowly tailored to promote that interest. Okay, a yes vote would amend the Kansas Constitution to state that there is no right in the Kansas Constitution to abortion, no requirement that there be government funding for abortion. The state legislature would have the authority to pass laws regarding abortion, including but not limited to instances where the pregnancy is a result of rape, incest, or necessary to protect the life of the mother. Such laws could not be challenged or being non-constitutional. So if you vote yes, the laws could change and they cannot be challenged. All right. So if you go down a little further on their page, it kind of tells you what's current about the abortion law in Kansas. So voting yes says that they would cut off the funding. No, voting no implies that funding would still be in place for abortions. So first of all, there is no public funding or private health insurance for funding abortions in Kansas unless the pregnant person's life is threatened, period. So the state is not issuing out funds in general for abortions. Okay, abortions after 22 weeks is already banned. Parental consent is already required. A 24-hour waiting period is already required. The Kansas Board of Healing Arts has requirements for all clinics, physicians, procedures, and prescription protocol, including for abortions, as it is a medical procedure. So there's already laws and different requirements for clinics in place. And I'm saying all this to say what? I'm saying read it for yourself and understand what giving the ability to change the Constitution Amendment means. And this is what it means for me. And I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to vote. Well, I'm not going to tell you I'm going to vote. For me, giving absolute power to state legislators to change anything bothers me. To give state legislators the ability, because once you open up the Kansas Constitution, it's open, right? So what if you have a legislator that doesn't believe in blood transfusions? There are some religious organizations that don't believe in it. So what if we get some legislators that say, you know what, blood transfusions off the table, we're going to change the amendment and it's not happening again? What if we get some legislators that don't believe in organ transplants, right? What if we get legislators that will just believe whatever? Once we vote yes, we give them the ability to change our state constitution without any recourse. If you vote yes, it says it cannot be challenged. So I'm saying this, if we want to ban abortions completely, then make that the measure completely. Put it on the table. Should Kansas ban abortions? Yes or no? Don't hide it in the Constitution Amendment. Don't give legislator absolute authority and power, just say straight out what you want to do, and let the voters, let the citizens of Kansas say yes or no. Don't put it on the back of a constitutional amendment saying that, funds are being put out. Put out the real information, and then let people make their own decision based on the actual information. I personally do not want to give state legislators the right to amend the Kansas Constitution without any recourse. That amendment said if you vote yes and they change something, you can't change it back. Now, I'm sure if you get another set of legislators in, you can probably go back and change it. But we vote people in every 2-4 years, and the damage could already be done. So you kind of know where I'm going when I vote. I'm not going to tell people how to vote because I want to stay middle of the road as well. But I want people to understand what the measures are saying. We would be giving up our constitutional right to vote on issues if we let the legislators, we give all that authority to our legislators. So I'm asking you all to read that measure with a fine-tooth comb. Don't get caught up in just abortions, right? Because if it's just about abortions, then why not just flat out make an amendment or flat out put a measure on to ban abortions, period, right? So for me, don't hide it. Just be real about what you're trying to do. So my last issue, that I'm gonna let you go, because again, I know some people probably got the grill, getting ready to get fired up. I don't celebrate the 4th of July. I know that America got its independence from, abroad, and that's great, and it's worth celebrating. But we cannot forget that African Americans were still in bondage. We were still enslaved in 1776. We were considered less than a whole person in 1776. And so it's kind of hard to celebrate something when I know that my ancestors were picking cotton and picking whatever coffee. I don't know how coffee grows, but my people were enslaved. My people were being hung off of trees. My people were being whipped. My people were eating scraps, off the table. And so it's kind of like Columbus Day. It's kind of hard to celebrate that a new world was found when people were already there. So again, for those that celebrate it, I hope you just stay safe. And again, read your history books, know what really happened and what was really taking place, and then make your own decision of how you're going to move forward. So one more thing, and then I'm going to let you guys go. So I'm going to get back to what justice looks like and what it doesn't look like. And I would be remiss if I don't bring up Cedric Lofton. And I think a lot of us in Wichita said that we would not let, wrong one, that we would not let his name be forgotten. Go here, share the screen. Oh, here we go. So there is an article, and thanks Mary Dean for sharing it, in the Kansas Reflector. And here's the title: Kansas cannot allow another death at the hand of authorities to go without notice and action. So just a real quick recap. Cedric Lofton was in the custody of officials. He was initially picked up by the police. Well, a call was made for a call for help, a juvenile in distress. Wichita Police Department initially picked him up. There was a struggle. Cedric was placed into the RAP system. There were marks on him, but we don't. Where did the marks come from? I'm going to say allegedly they happened that night. The coroner's report, the medical coroner's report, showed that his oxygen was cut off. CJ could not breathe either. So because once he was in the rap system, there was a struggle. There was a struggle to get him in the rap system. There was a struggle that ensued. They took that young man to JIAC. There were more struggles. He was sat on, yeah, kind of like George Floyd. The 17-year-old was sat on. He could not breathe, and he died that night. He died. No one has been held accountable for that death. No one has been held accountable for that death. Again, let that sink in. And this came out of the article. So one shooting death, and this might have came out of the article for Justin Rapp, but one shooting death for every 120 officers. That's what happens in Wichita. So out of 120 officers, there's at least one shooting death, and that is 11 times higher than the national rate. So a death occurs in Wichita 11 times higher than the national rate. And, you know, we all talk about Chicago and that they're just killing each other. It's a madhouse. Stay out of Chicago. Well, guess what? Our rate is 12 times higher than the city of Chicago. Our shooting death rate is 12 times higher than that of the city of Chicago. So it all goes back to our policies and procedures. It goes back to our FOP contract. It goes back to who approves the FOP contract. Our city council members approve it. And Mayor Whipple is part of the approval process. He approved that FOP contract. So, you know, I appreciate him and the other council members saying something is kind of odd about promoting an officer while there's an investigation going on. But you guys are also the same body that approved the FOP contract, where we could have added some transparency in the contract. It's our contract. We could have added more measures for transparency, but that contract was approved 7-0. And so maybe, you know, we can look back hindsight now and say, well, we should have done this, we should have done that. We can do some things differently. And city council and the mayor, if the only person that you can hire or fire is the city manager, then maybe perhaps you need to tweak your contract with that person. Maybe it's time to do some tweaking just all around. So again, this is all about learning. It's all about getting involved, getting active. The Black Eagle, he says, look at things with a third eye. Again, I'm glad that they're questioning things now, but when that FOP contract was up for approval, back to policies. So although the city council does not have the ability to hire and fire, they're over policies and procedures. They had a policy in front of them that they passed 7-0 that they could have tweaked to get more transparency. There's all kind of policies in the city right now that can be tweaked for more transparency. So again, it's all about learning. It's all about listening, and it's all about action. So I'm just encouraging everybody to read for yourselves. And again, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I don't have it in writing who the Black officer was involved in the text messages. I hope the article in the Eagle comes out soon. I hope the investigation happens soon so that we all know who we're actually working with. We only know of Justin Rapp because of the swatting incident, but we know about that because they had to go to court on it already. So up until there was a certain point, we did not know his name either. And so all of this hiding behind closed doors, I think just needs to stop so that we can build up trust and we can rebuild relationships all the way around. So enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you enjoy this new thing of Lunch and Learn. I'm gonna try to do these more often. Just get in there real quick, throw some things out there for you to go back and read and learn about on your own. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for sharing some of your time. And hopefully I've given you something to think about. Bye.